Thank you so much, Representative Walkinshaw. And now it's my pleasure to recognize Adelita Grijalva from Arizona for 4 minutes.
Thank you. Muchas gracias. I would like to start by acknowledging the gravity of this moment, highlighted by the fearless testimony of the witnesses here. Especially true for the people of Minnesota, for communities across the country who are living in fear. This city is mourning the loss of one of its community members, Renee Nicole Good. 3 children are now mourning the loss of their mother because of a federal agent shot and killed her point blank range. And what has the federal response been? Calls for a transparent, accountable investigation? No. We're watching federally controlled probe shut out state and local authorities offering zero transparency. Are we seeing a calm commander-in-chief urging de-escalation and peaceful protest? No. We're seeing blatant intimidation and threats to invoke the Insurrection Act. Do we even hear the faintest acknowledgement that maybe, just maybe, something went wrong here? No. Instead, we see Secretary Noem distort the facts, gaslight the American public, and try to make us not believe what we can see with our own eyes. Let's be clear. Renee Nicole Good was murdered at the hands of ICE, a lawless agency that is promoting chaos and fear in our communities across the country. What is happening in Minnesota is unfortunately all too familiar for Arizonans. Arizona is no stranger to this fight. In 2010, the state passed the now Senate bill SB 1070, the Show Me Your Papers, right? 1070 was one of the broadest, strictest laws of its kind and at the time, and it took effect and made Arizona a testing ground for racial profiling and cruel immigration policies, the very kind that we see implemented across the country today. I represent a district that shares 300 miles of the border with Mexico, where families live on both sides of the border, families have mixed status, and the presence of Border Patrol and immigration agents is a fact of our daily life. But the level of aggression we have seen since Trump took office is truly unprecedented. I witnessed this firsthand when federal agents raided a local restaurant in my district when I showed up to ask for more information to do my job of oversight, tried to de-escalate the situation. They indiscriminately sprayed chemical irritants on the crowd, which included myself and journalists documenting the scene. And then they spun it and gaslighted the community. And what we're seeing here in Minnesota and what I've seen in Arizona is part of that same pattern. It's a pattern of intimidation. Federal agents using force instead of restraint, intimidation instead of engagement, secrecy instead of transparency. That is why, until significant reforms are made, Congress should not allocate another dime, ni un centavo, to immigration enforcement agencies. Secretary Noem should be impeached for her handling of this incident and for a campaign of terror across the country. We need to make sure that federal law enforcement serves the people, la gente, not terrorize them. We need accountability, we need answers, and that is why we are all here today, to be here with you. I want to thank you for being here, and I do want to ask a question of Ms. Gonzalez Avalos. We've heard the stories of people afraid to go to work, to go to school, to go to the mail. After ICE killed a U.S. citizen here, how has fear spread through this immigrant and mixed status families, and what has this done to the trust in law enforcement? How has this affected their willingness to call the police, report crimes, or seek help when they need it?
We have seen that across the board, immigrant communities are deeper in lockdown. They are not sending their children to school, regardless of their citizenship. They're not going to work, and their businesses are increasingly getting shut down. They are making the hard decision. We have also experienced, and we need more information about that, but we have also experienced systemic deployment of I-9 audits in ethnic corridors and Latino, like ethnic business corridors in the metro and suburban areas. And people are afraid that by submitting something that is supposed to be simple regulatory practice could be weaponized using further that information to harm more families, even those that might have immigration status. We are hearing hospitals, people are not seeking care, critical care. People are not getting their medication or going to the pharmacy. And people who have made the decision that maybe the way out is going back to their birthplace are afraid to even buy an airplane ticket because they know that there's cooperation in the airports and in the border, even if they're trying to go to their birthplace where they are legible and they can be there lawfully.
Thank you. La gente unida jamás será vencida. The people united will never be divided. Thank you for showing us the way.
Thank you so much, Representative Grijalva.